Hello and welcome back to Middle-Aged Moto. Hope everybody is doing fabulous on this beautiful day. It is Sunday morning, 71 degrees. I'm out for a nice burn. Before I get started on the topic, I wanted to let's tell a little story about what happened when I first was leaving. I was still in the neighborhoods close to mine, and I felt something tug at my left leg. And I was like, what the heck? Like, almost like I hit something and it pulled my leg off the peg. And I stopped and looked down and my pants were all chewed. Evidently, my pants, which I've worn for years, blew into the chain. And it could have been pretty damn bad. But the chain just took a chunk of fabric out and spit my leg out. So, I gotta keep an eye on that. Now I'm all paranoid when I'm riding. Alright, well, enough with that said. Let's get to the topic. Alright, we're going on a year of ownership with my bike, and I wanted to just kind of check in. Are there any regrets? Do I still love it the way I did when I got it? How's the wear and tear? Any problems that I've had? So let's start with problems. I had made the video on oil in the upper top. They believe it came out of the breather because of overfilling the oil. There's been no problem since. So that issue was really non-existent. Other than that, I've had zero issues. The bike has been flawless. I've got about 3,000 miles, just over 3,000 miles on it, which in a year is a little low for me. Usually with my Monster I did about 4,000 miles a year, but I had a busy winter with all the things that were going on in my life, and the winter was rainy and cold this year, and I really didn't fancy going out on my bike. So I rode less, and I can't believe it was that much less, but I did. I replaced my rear tire a couple weeks back, or a week back. It was about 2,800 miles, if I remember correctly. I still had some life in the tire. I could have ridden longer. The wear bars were probably right at where they were starting, they were showing. I mean, they were even. So I really could have gotten some time, but I picked up a piece of metal, a screw, a nail, something in the tire. I didn't know how deep it went. When I pulled it out, it didn't, it wasn't leaking. But I don't risk stuff like that when it comes to a motorcycle. I don't want, the risk of one, being stranded and having to tow my bike, two, just the danger factor of the tire blowing out or deflating while I'm riding, spiritedly, let's say. So I decided to get one ordered, got that put on. So that was it. I've had people ask me, do you regret not buying the S? Why didn't you buy the S? It's not a money factor. Well, it is, but it isn't. I've always been the type that as long as I can justify, I'll spend whatever, if I can afford it, I'll spend the money. I just couldn't justify it for me. This bike can outride me. You know what I mean? The suspension. I'll never outride the suspension whatsoever. And I'm an old school guy. You know what I mean? Trust me. I love the the traction control and the wheelie control, and I love all that stuff. I think it's pretty cool. And the ABS. I didn't have back in the day, any of us older riders, you just kind of rode, and you did what you had to do. But the suspension, electronic suspension, is just one more thing that I could have a problem with. Not that it's a chronic thing. I've heard a couple guys having some slight issues, but I don't really, that wasn't one of the major contributors. I just don't need it. And to be honest with you, I like the look of the black forks better. But I'm an old-fashioned set it, forget it. I want to set the suspension up for me. It's consistent. I know how it is on bumps. I know how it is when I ride hard. I know how it is when I'm in the twisties, and it's consistent every single time. There's no surprises. Now, I'm not saying that Olin suspension, I had Olin suspension on my Monster. Best suspension I've ever had. But if I really had to be honest, I don't really feel any difference from this bike, other than it was maybe a little bit more, I don't know, plush, but I always tighten my suspension up. I like a tighter suspension, so you know, be that what it is, you know, the 3000 or whatever the heck it is for the wheels and that. I don't track my bike. This is a fun bike, and half the time I'm out cruising like this, so you know, maybe on some of the really bumpy roads, loosening the suspension up would be a little bit more comfortable, but I don't know. So no. Mods I've done to the bike: I put a tail tidy in it. I put the valve eliminator, and the valve is open on the exhaust, because I mean, I threw a check engine light probably 2 weeks out. Oh, that's true, that happened too. The exhaust valve sensor or whatever was throwing a check engine light, so I just opened the valve up, cleared the code with my scanner, and got a you know, valve eliminator module, popped it in, and I was done. So as far as I'm concerned, that really isn't a problem. The bike runs fantastic, cold, warm, and different. I think that was mainly for noise, so the valve's always open, so maybe the bike's a little louder when you're getting on it. I don't know really the logistics behind the valve. I did the EvoTech peg deletes. It's basically a little black cage. I'll throw a picture up. It's kind of overkill, and it's expensive for really what it is. It's, you know, parts are parts, R&D and stuff. But basically, I'll never have a passenger on this, and I got rid of my rear pegs, just cleaned up the rear, and put that on. Now the fuel tank you can see the fuel tank from the bottom, so there is potential that something could fling up from the tire and hit the gas tank, but you know, I don't know, I don't have a blemish on it, so you know, take that for what it is. I got the Desmo World's protector. I did a video on the install. It's pretty simple, great piece, quality product, stand-up guide, just all around really nice, and that's it. You know, I did an EvoTech tail tidy too, but really didn't do a whole lot. I've toyed with the exhausts a couple times, and I've made the decision that I'm just going to keep it stock. It's plenty loud. It's, you know, it runs fine. I don't need a tune. I don't need anything. The bike is perfect the way it is for me. It does everything I need it to do. I do have my new bike coming, so I will be, you know, putting some more miles on that. It is a less expensive bike. It is Japanese, so it's, I got a big bird. All right, it is Japanese, and I'm gonna just ride the hell out of it. And then once I pay that off, I'm considering buying a third bike, some sort of either cruiser or some sort of like sport touring class bike. Not something, you know, I was thinking maybe Africa Twin or Tenere 700, but I'm not going to take a bike that big off-road. I'm just not skilled. I know a lot of people say it's super easy to do and they're great on the road and all that, but I want something that's a road bike, and that way I'll just ride this when I really want to get out and rip and keep the miles off. I can clean it up real nice, and you kind of, you know, it's never going to be a garage queen, but you know, I'd like a third bike. I was thinking about the NT 1100, I want to say, that's coming out from Honda, or came out. I don't think it hit the States yet. Kind of neat. I'm all new to this DCT transmission, the dual clutch. It's an option on it for about $1,000, and you know, I'm tossing that around, that it would be really cool to just take some journeys and not have to shift or anything. Just the bike just goes, kind of like a big scooter. But I don't know, I'm still kind of on the fence with all that. You know, half the fun of riding a bike for me is the interaction. You know, shifting gears and stuff like that, and downshifting, and you know, now I know you can manually flip the paddles and do that, but I don't know, we'll We'll see what happens there. But a couple different ones. I'm not gonna go extremely crazy. I don't know, $12,000–13,000 max. I don't want something that's, you know, got real high, you know, cost for maintenance. Like, well, it's like the Multistrada. I would love to own a Multistrada. One, it's priced too high, and I just don't want to invest that much money, at least now. Maybe I'll, you know, down the road when I lose my luster, if I ever lose my luster for this, I'll sell this and get a V4 Multistrada. It's kind of my all-around bike, but yeah, I don't see that happening. So with that said, we'll get back with you guys later on, and have a wonderful week.